Let's talk about economic justice. Let's talk about abolishing capitalism. Let's talk about what that would even mean and why it's so hard to imagine a world without capitalism. Finally, let's talk about DSA's concrete demands as part of a strategy for abolishing capitalism. We'll look at the policies that DSA wants to see enacted according to our 2021 national platform. Actually, when we get to policies, I'm just going to give you the bullet points and invite you to check out the platform for yourself. By abolishing capitalism, we mean organizing economic production for the purpose of meeting human needs, not for the purpose of profit taking. Production for use, not profit. This has been socialists' message for quite a long time. Eugene Debs, when he ran for president in 1912, the month before the election, said much the same thing. Compare what Debs said to what we say in our 2021 platform. We fight for the abolition of capitalism and the creation of a democratically run economy that provides for people's needs. You may be saying to yourself, but I was told capitalism is free and democratic. You might be saying that, but you're probably not. We all know the rich get richer. We all know them that has gets. We all know the power that billionaires and multimillionaires have in our system. Do you feel equal with them? Do you feel you have equal political power to the super wealthy, the Jeff Bezoses, the Elon Musks of the world? How many working class people do we ever elect? What say do we have in corporate policies, the policies that often run our lives? Who rules from the bench? Talk about affecting our lives. If you were born into a family without money, the free and democratic choice you have is to work or starve. That's the deal. Why do we put up with it? Why do workers put up with legally sanctioned inequity, with having less and not getting our needs met, while the most privileged in our society want for nothing? We may find an explanation in Karl Marx's writing. You may have heard of base and superstructure theory. Don't worry about it if you haven't seen it before. The gist of the idea is the economic interests of the ruling class determine how we think about law and politics generally. Base and superstructure, what are we talking about? The base refers to labor, that is, flesh and blood workers trading hours of their life for money in exchange for their ability to produce, to create, to make things that can be sold for profit. Labor plus the means of labor. What does the means of labor mean? You ever hear of the means of production? That's basically it. It's the stuff you need to get the work done, the tools, the infrastructure, the raw materials. So what's the superstructure? Marxists have disagreed about this. Personally, I would include the social relations in the base, what Marx called the relations of production. That is, the sum total of social relationships that people must enter into in order to survive, to produce, and to reproduce their means of life in society as it is currently organized. The relationship between bosses and workers. In the old days, between husband and wife, parent and child. And to this day, the relationship between the so-called majority and disempowered, dispossessed, so-called minorities. Even in situations where the so-called minorities outnumber the ruling group. So the base is labor plus the means of labor plus, if you ask me, the social relations that make labor possible in a given society, in whatever way that society does things, whether it's through slave labor, child labor, wage labor, etc. Why do we put up with it? Why has any underprivileged class put up with mass inequity, mass deprivation of what we need to meet basic human needs? On one hand, it's a question of force. You work or starve. You might object, but behind your boss is the landlord, and behind your landlord is the cops, and behind the cops is the army. And you are not fixing to win against all that, at least not alone. Maybe we put up with it because inequity is baked into our system. It's been normalized since the Republic was founded. Class division is not a bug in our system, it's a feature. Take a look at the preamble to the Constitution. It says, "We the people, in order to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity." What does that mean? Posterity means your descendants. Right there, enshrined in the preamble of the United States Constitution, is the idea that how blessed you are depends on how much your parents made, how much your parents had. Anyone really believe your success in life should be dependent on how much your daddy or mommy made? That's not how it should be, but that's how it's always been. By and large, the rich have rich kids, and the poor have poor ones. What could possibly justify depriving the many for the benefit of the few? Well, natural hierarchies, so-called, have always been used to justify mass deprivation, from the ancients to the moderns, from classical economists to capital F fascists. Two sad clowns on the internet. The emancipation of the working class begins with working people understanding their shared interests and formulating their demands accordingly. Without consciousness of our shared interests and our shared situation, there can be no meaningful working class advocacy. Okay, I'm done talking. Almost. What follows is a list of demands made in DSA's 2021 national platform. I invite you to check out the platform. But for right now, I ask you to check out what the SA wants, what we believe will bring about a free and truly democratic economy.